There was a time, not so long ago, when video games were simpler, before the time of eSports, not played competitively. I mean, if you can call the amount of friendships ruined by Mario Kart 64 not quote-unquote competitive. Let's take a step back and look at 10 video game cheats, too fun not to try. But be warned, these cheats may be on games you've never heard of. If you love to learn new cheats and tricks to games from your past or present, why not consider subscribing to our channel? I promise we don't bite. And while you're at it, join our notification squad for updates on new releases. Full Arsenal, Super Castlevania IV. Remember when I said there would be games that could be on this list well before your time? Meet the Castlevania series. Quite arguably, they made some of the most difficult games known to man. Super Castlevania IV was released in 1991, although there was a more recent re-release for the Wii U and the 3DS. What makes the fourth installment of this series so interesting, you ask? Well, if you're a fan of Dracula and an amazing soundtrack, then this game might be right up your alley. Here's the catch though. Getting to that final boss is no walk in the park. If you're not up for the challenge that is part of playing Castlevania, then there's another way to beat the game. Release the Full Arsenal. You can do this by using the Full Arsenal cheat by giving you max health, 99 hearts, a cross, an illstone, and a fully upgraded whip. You, my friend, are now an unstoppable force. How do you unlock it? Go to the screen with the stairs that lead you toward Dracula, but don't climb them, and instead jump to the left, where you'll find an invisible platform. Go all the way to the left, and you'll find the upgrades. Good luck, and we hope we helped you slay those vampires. Number 9. Rocket Launcher, Resident Evil. Resident Evil is what I like to call a rare gem. It was released in 1996, but the characters in the storyline would still make it worthwhile to pick up and play today. If you love the Resident Evil series and you haven't played the first game, there's something wrong. The original title of the game was going to be Biohazard, but since the US had recently produced a game under that title, Resident Evil was born. It also was the first game dubbed as a survival horror, and it would be what many of our childhood memories of zombies eventually faded into. Even today, when I think about zombies, I can picture the horrific representations from Resident Evil. Okay, so Resident Evil quickly lost its scary effect when I learned about the rocket launcher that held an unlimited ammo cheat. That's right, there's an amazing weapon that you can use to uncover the secrets of the Umbrella Corporation, but it's not the easiest thing to unlock. Also, if you have the skills to unlock the rocket launcher, well, sorry to say, but you might not actually need it to win the game. It's just really fun to use. So, how do you get the incredible, awesome unlockable? Oh, you know, just beat the game in under 3 hours, wait for the credits to roll past, save your game, and then load the game and open the first chest. Ta-da! You now are the proud owner of a rocket launcher. It's probably easier said than done. Number 8. Flying Cars. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Grand Theft Auto is one of those timeless classics. You're not an entirely terrible guy, but your character kinda is. If you're not using the cheats while playing Grand Theft Auto, then you're playing the game wrong. Now I'm joking, of course, but if you're going to willingly play a character that steals and kills for cash, I think it would be okay if you enter a few cheat codes. I promise I won't tell anyone, and it'll make the game more fun. So for those of you who don't know the story of CJ, it's actually pretty tragic. He returns home after his mother's murder to discover that his old friends and family aren't doing so well. Throughout the game, you play as CJ, trying to bring the gang back to its former glory while dealing with corrupt cops and trying to unravel the mysteries of your mother's murder. There's a lot going on here to make CJ choose a life of crime that was probably forced on him to begin with. One of my favorite cheats in the game is the flying cars. I've always been a fan of Aladdin, so the moment I discovered flying cars, it was as close to flying carpets as I could get, and I was sold. If you want to play around and bring some Back to the Future style to Grand Theft Auto, get in the car and push square, down, L2, up, L1, circle, up, X, and left. You'll be soaring above Los Santos and the corrupt cops shooting at you faster than E.T. rode his bicycle back to his home planet. Number 6. Turkey Assassin. Assassin's Creed III. Assassin's Creed is by far one of the best franchises as far as video games go. what can I say? I'm a sucker for historical fiction and action-adventure games. The series is obviously doing well for itself. Comic books and movie adaptations have been part of its wide success. If you've ever dreamed of having a pet turkey, visit the Davenport homestead and you'll find the turkey hiding out on a nearby porch. Whistle and target the turkey. Now push up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, and you'll see him change into an assassin. This turkey won't be on anyone's dinner plate anytime soon. Number 5. Pimps, Prostitutes, and Exploding Bodies. Saints Row the Third. Saints Row the Third doesn't really require any additional features to make it feel like a party, but who can say no to a little extra fun? Don't get me wrong, the other Saints Row titles are amazing, but the third installment adds even more weapons, cool cars, crazy scenarios, lighthearted gameplay, and if sex toy bats are your kind of thing, well then welcome to the world of Saints Row. In this title, you play as a character that leads a gang called 3rd Street's Saints against 3 rival gangs. It's kind of like the adult version of West Side Story. Now, a lot of people might consider this to be on par with Grand Theft Auto, and although there are some similarities, I'd like to say they're not the same. You do have cool cars and downtrodden gangs looking for a little fun in the form of prostitutes and explosions, and speaking of those 2 fun additions, there is a cheat code that unlocks them in Saints Row the Third. If you head over to the cell phone menu and check under Extras, you'll be able to enter a number of cheats. My favorites are the Pimps and Prostitutes by putting in ho ho ho, that's 3 hoes, and no traded, which will allow you to make bodies explode in the game. We hope you'll be up for one bang-up good time with these cheats. Number 4. Final Boss Quick Kill, Silent Hill. Yeah, Silent Hill is not a game to pick up lightly. Another survival horror game published by Konami. By the way, if we're talking about Konami, how sad are we that they left the video game industry for slot machines? Konami was responsible for games like Metal Gear Solid, Contra, Frogger, and Silent Hill. Silent Hill had some of the most visually frightening monsters and an amazing storyline to go with it. But it was, of course, the final boss that haunted our deflated egos, because it was almost impossible to kill it, and our nightmares. Silent Hill is based in a quintessential and mysterious American town, with the main character Harry Mason searching for his missing adopted daughter. The player can have multiple endings, that is, if they can get past the whole scary cult trying to revive an ancient deity. The final boss in Silent Hill is meant to be both menacing and impossible to beat, but if you're struggling with it, there's a cheat to solve all of your problems. Go into the room where the boss is located and make sure that you don't have any ammunition for your weapons. If you're unarmed, then he'll die on his own terms. I guess the boss has a soft spot in his heart after all. Number 3. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Zombie Mode. Scott Pilgrim is one of the best games ever created. Okay, that might be a bit of an overstatement. This side-scrolling beat-em-up game was based on the Scott Pilgrim graphic novels. If you've never heard of this series, you have to check it out. If you like obscure characters that would normally be considered heroes, each character in the game has their own individual movesets. You have the choice between Scott Pilgrim, Scott's love interest, Ramona Flowers, Kim Pine, the amazing drummer friend of Scott, and Scott's college buddy, Steven Stills. Sure, Scott Pilgrim has a lot to deal with, tackling 7 evil ex-boyfriends of Ramona Flowers, but what if you could make these boyfriends into zombies? If you're keen on seeing how you'll measure up against a bunch of superpowered zombies, then head to the title screen and enter down, up right, down, up right, down, up right, 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 and you'll unlock the zombie mode, giving you a taste of what it's like to rule the undead world. Number 2. Samus Aran's True Form, Metroid. Metroid was a science fiction, action-adventure video game that chronicles the extraordinary missions of Samus Aran as a bounty hunter. It defied the gaming industry standard by combining a platform style like Super Mario Bros. And the world exploration of The Legend of Zelda, but in a much darker atmosphere. There were a lot of new things that Metroid offered to video games, including the suit's armor cannon that could be upgraded to further explore the world. There was one thing that truly shocked gamers all around the world: Samus Aran's true form. She was a woman that defied and amazed a very male-dominated hobby. She wasn't just any woman though, she was the hero that the world of Metroid needed. She was kind of like our version of Lara Croft. but her gender wasn't immediately revealed, and she didn't have to wear skin-tight clothes to be viewed as a powerful woman. I think the armor cannon on her suit did the talking for her. If you wanted to play through the entire game in Samus Aran's true form, all you had to do is enter, quote-unquote, Justin Bailey on the top half of the password screen, and you'll be able to play the whole game without Samus's helmet. Now before we go on to our number 1 pick, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Number 1. Nude Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider completely changed the action-adventure video game with the introduction of the sexy and mysterious Lara Croft. In the game, you play as Lara Croft, solving puzzles and navigating a unique environment full of traps and enemies. You get to do all that while wearing skin-tight clothes and showing cleavage. There are so many female characters in today's game that are based off Lara Croft. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is up for you to decide. One of the greatest glitches revealed that you could play Lara Croft naked. I think all the teenage boys' prayers were answered that day. Back in the 90s, there was a rumor that spread around that there was a cheat code to make Lara Croft naked, but it never really existed. There was, however, a glitch in the game that allowed Croft's tank top to become partially see-through. A Canadian gamer revealed that the glitch could be achieved by dying in an explosion once you were too close to a gas exhaust. The reload last checkpoint screen would keep popping up, and once the screen reloads, you'll be able to notice that Lara Croft's tank top is entirely see-through. The developers must have been somewhat aware because 2 large square pixels cover up any further sexual exploration of the mind. Come on, we thought Lara Croft had been developed past the days of being a sex symbol for video games, but this might prove otherwise. If you're a fan of the classics, then you'll know the hatred of cheat codes wasn't always prevalent. You'll realize that a lot of these codes were made to make games more fun and enjoyable for the players. And we hope that you'll join us in our next video game adventure.